It's Super Videos back at you for another video. This is gonna be my breakdown and discussion for the sneak peek for Season 7, Episode 9 of The Walking Dead, which is gonna return February 12th, 2017. So the sneak peek is basically the group coming out of the house at the hilltop and talking about how they're gonna strike back against Negan, and it's probably right after they meet with Gregory and Rick talks with Gregory about him and the hilltop joining Alexandria in the fight, and I'm predicting that Gregory is probably not going to agree, but like I said previously in my prediction videos, I think Sasha, Jesus, and Maggie are going to push him towards this alliance with the Alexandrians to fight against Negan and the Saviors. So from the sneak peek, we see the group come out of the house, and Daryl is basically saying something like, if we find the right stuff, we don't need the numbers, we can just blow them all up, burn them to the ground. And it's very cool because that's actually like a callback, because if you remember, Daryl was the one that blew up the Saviors on bicycles. So it's like Daryl has that strategy again to just blow them all up. So that was quite funny. Then we actually have Tara saying that Jesus said it's not just soldiers at the sanctuary, there's also other survivors, workers, and I thought that was also a great callback as well, because if you remember, she was part of the governor's group that attacked the prison. So she knows what it feels like to be on the wrong side, but have your heart be on the other side, and also being on the wrong side but wanting to do the right thing. So she's like sticking up for the workers at the sanctuary and saying that they're no part of this war, they don't deserve to die. So that was also a great callback. She actually even says that they had no choice as well, which is like her situation, because back when she was with the governor and attacking the prison, she had no choice. She was basically forced. In a way, she was brainwashed. The governor gave her the wrong information. The governor lied to her and made her think that Rick's group were the bad guys and had her help him in that attack. So it's very cool how it's like it's coming full circle with Tara, because she started in a similar spot and now she's back to a similar spot, but only on a different side of it. And then following that, Rick is talking about how they need more people, they need more communities to help them, and he's basically acknowledging the fact that only Hilltop and Alexandria are not enough to fight against the Saviors. They need to find other groups who will help them, other people who are strong soldiers who are going to help. He even mentions that Negan and the Saviors have a lot of outposts, and these different outposts, the geography of it and the distance works against them, because by the time they find one outpost and hit it, the other outpost is going to attack from another direction, so they can't really plan because they don't know exactly where the outposts are, they don't know how many outposts. So for Rick, he's trying to act rationally and think about every step of the way before he actually goes on attacking. And he knows that it's not going to be successful without the numbers. He is really trying to get others to make an alliance with his group so they can attack the Saviors, which actually fits the comics at this point as well, because in the comics we have March to War, and in March to War, Rick is doing the exact same thing. Now, the circumstances are a bit different, but Rick's strategy in the comics is the exact same as it is in the TV show. And then, of course, he says that we need to get back, we need to hide Daryl, we need to do something with Daryl because the Saviors are going to come looking for him. Because of course he ran away, he escaped, so it's only logical to think that Negan wants to come back to Alexandria to see if Daryl is there, and probably even punish the group to some extent as well. And then Jesus stops him and says that you don't need to get back, and he brings out the radio. He says, I have this, I'll be listening in and knowing when they come. Of course, that radio is the radio that Fat Joey had, and if you remember in my things you may have missed, I pointed this out, Jesus actually takes that radio with him. So it's a very smart move on Jesus' part, and it comes very handy in the next arc of the story that's going to be coming up, which is March to War. Someone commented the name of the channel he has is Rabbit Shrimp. He actually brought up a very good point. He said this about the radio. Remember in season 6 when Carol and Maggie were captured, the Saviors changed the wavelength. If Negan realizes one of the radios is missing, as Rick's gun is, they can do the same and Jesus won't be able to listen to them. I thought that was a great catch and I absolutely agree with them. I think that even though Jesus and the survivors did a great thing by having the radio and they can listen in, the possibility that Negan is gonna change the wavelength and make it undetectable is very likely. So even though they have the radio, it may not be as useful as they would have wanted. And then going back to the sneak peek, we have Jesus saying you don't have to get back because of the radio. And he says that I think it's time for you to meet Ezekiel, King Ezekiel, which is very cool. It's like the exact same as in the comics. The circumstances are different, but Jesus does in fact introduce the survivors to King Ezekiel and the kingdom in the comics as well, which is very cool how it came to life in this manner. It was remixed, of course, but it's very cool. Now, what's interesting is what's going to happen next, because if they go to the kingdom and meet Ezekiel, they will probably find Carol and Morgan there as well. And it may actually be a great way to unite everyone together. Now, I'm going to be doing separate videos talking about Morgan and Carol and their involvement in this war, but as far as this video is concerned, the main thing we need to look forward to is to get Rick meeting with Ezekiel and everyone being reunited again, meaning Carol, Morgan, and everyone else. And then there's something else that I thought was very funny. I wanted to mention it here, is when Jesus says King Ezekiel, Rick has this surprised look on his face and he says, King Ezekiel, as if he doesn't understand why someone would call themselves king in this world, which is very cool. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.